Yes. In the Ramayana Sanskrit epic going back 6,000 plus years, there is the story of Lord Rama and how his ootsy cutesy girlfriend got stolen by the demon lord that ruled a nearby island, the demon lord Lanka. The island is named after him. It's called Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Anyway, Lord Rama did not have enough boats to float his army across to Sri Lanka and attack this jerk and get his girlfriend back. And he did not have enough vimanas to make an air force to fly in an army to attack this jerk and get his girlfriend back again. So he was sort of in a quandary as to what to do until his allies, suggested to him that they would build a bridge for him between India and Sri Lanka, and then he could just march his army across it and invade him all to his heart's content. And he went, "Well, that sounds like a great idea. Is there enough of you guys?" "Oh yeah. We'll get our buddies from all over the planet to show up and help you here. Don't worry about it, Lord Rama. We got you." So if you go and look at the Sanskrit, what are the Vinara? Well, they've got all these intricately carved stone temples and stuff. And go see Praveen Mohan's channel. He'll show you all that amazing stuff. He got like 3 million subs. Guy's absolutely spectacular. And he has pointed this out in the past too. What is this Temple of the Monkey God stuff with all these Vinara people on it that look like monkeys? Those are Bigfoot. And they actually did them wrong on the temples, and he's pointed this out too. Some of the temples that were made within the last 1,000 years or so, they portray them as something that looks like half a human and half a monkey, and it's got a monkey tail. And he said, but that's not how they're described. And I went, wait. And I went and looked it up again. And I actually found a conversation with two experts on Sanskrit that were talking specifically about the Vinara and how that had all been mistranslated. And yeah, it doesn't say anywhere in there that they had tails. Here's the description of the Vinara. Vinara in Sanskrit literally means forest people. And what do these forest people look like? Well, they don't wear clothes. They're covered with hair, and some of them are the size of elephants. Does this sound familiar? So anyway, the Vinara, clearly the Sasquatch, build this huge bridge across from India to Sri Lanka so that Lord Rama can go get his babe back again. And they go one step further and they say, "Hey, we hate the giants. Can we join up with your army and massacre those bastards?" And he's like, "Yeah." Gives them a high five. So they build this big bridge, and according to the epic, the bridge was supposed to be about half a mile wide and about 10 miles long. And then they all invade and they kill all the giants and they get his girlfriend back, go back to the mainland, and they all lived happily ever after. So this is all a great story. It's a great story, except for the fact that they were doing some satellite scans in the Bay of Bengal, and they found what looks like an old bridge buried underneath it that went from the mainland to Sri Lanka in exactly the same place that what they called Adam's Bridge was supposed to be. So having found this from satellite, they got extremely curious and they sent a scuba team down to investigate. And they came back looking perplexed, going, "I don't think that's natural." Then they sent another scuba survey team down with archaeologists that spent about 2 years working on it and filed a report on it and came back saying, this thing is constructed and it's been here for at least 6,000 years. And there's your report from over 6,000 years ago of the Bigfoot invading Sri Lanka and killing the living crap out of all the giants there.
Wow, that is actually a great story.
Welcome back to another episode of World Bigfoot Radio. Howdy, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Tonight we have something a little bit different here. Some reports of a Gugwe, apparently, encounters coming from northern Alberta. And before we get on with the encounters, I'd like to say a special thanks to Sean for sending them to me. Hey, Sean, thanks, man. I know you probably still got some more reports. If you want to share them with me, I'll make sure they get put out to everybody else so they can be forewarned. Forewarned is forearmed. So with that, here we go. Let's get to those Gugwe reports. All right, Sean says, I received this report via email on 9/12/98. The reporting witness gave his name as Gavin. When I first received the report, I was dubious as I knew nothing of the Gugwe creature at this time. The report goes as follows, quote, Hi, my name is Gavin. I live outside of Fort McMurray on a small acreage. About 2 weeks ago, I heard screaming sounds outside. I opened the back door to see if I could spot anything. On a hill behind the barn, I saw a thing that I thought was a Bigfoot, but it didn't look like Bigfoot are supposed to look like. It looked like the monster from Rawhead Rex, a horror movie. It walked out of sight, still making its horrible sounds. My dog seemed to be afraid for the rest of the night. And Sean says that was it. I searched for the movie Rawhead Rex, and the creature does somewhat resemble the images of the Gugwe that I have seen online. He sent me a couple of images to share, and here we go. You can take a look at those. Okay, in this report, the location is near Rocky Mountain House, Alberta. The date, July 23rd, 2004. Time, early evening. Occurrence, vocalizations, and sighting on property. A man on a property west of the town of Rocky Mountain House reported that he began to hear roaring sounds in the forest that surrounded his property. He described it as the roar of a lion, but much, much louder. So loud that he not only heard them, but he felt them as well. At first they seemed to be coming from a good distance away, but steadily became louder and louder as the maker of the sounds drew closer to his property. He said that the sounds both terrified and mesmerized him, kind of like he was having a nightmare. This made him even more fearful, as he had never experienced anything like this before. He said that he decided to go outside to see if he could spot the maker of the sounds, but before he did this, he armed himself with a rifle. He didn't specify what type or caliber it was. One thing, he said, is that the entire time he felt a lingering sense of dread and couldn't explain why. Once he was outside, he spotted a very large bipedal creature standing on just the other side of the barbed wire fence that separated his property from Crown, which is government, land. He estimated its height at 9.5 to 10 feet, but what really sent him into shock was the creature's face. His exact words were, quote, it was like somebody cut off a bear's head and plunked it onto a giant ape thing's shoulders. I've always been open to the idea of Bigfoot, but I didn't think it looked like this. This wasn't normal. It felt like it didn't belong here, or anywhere, for that matter, unquote. He didn't even consider the idea of shooting it. In fact, he said that he almost forgot that the rifle was in his hands. After looking at it for a short time, maybe 15 to 20 seconds, the creature made a, quote, grumbling, unquote, sound and crashed back into the forest. He heard the roaring vocalization twice more. Both seemed to come from a further distance away, showing him that the creature was moving away from his property. That was the end of the initial report. We emailed back and forth a few times, Sean says, with me trying to get as many details as I could about the creature. The physical description is as follows. 9.5 to 10 foot tall, hair color rust red. He estimated the creature was at least 5 to 6 feet across the shoulders. The head had a definite snout or muzzle. He saw teeth when the creature vocalized. He said that the teeth were those of a true predator. Other than that, there isn't anything else to mention. After 6 email exchanges, he decided that he didn't want to talk about it anymore. He only gave me his first name, Greg, and would not disclose any other personal details. I didn't push for anything else. I did get to meet him face-to-face one time at Crimson Lake Provincial Park. He didn't waver once in his report. His parting comment made me believe his report even more. When we were standing there talking, he looked at his watch and said, quote, "The sun is going to start setting soon. We should get out of here," unquote. I'll try to get more reports to you soon. Work has been taking a lot of time lately, and have a good day, says Sean. Alberta Gugwe Report number 3. Sean says, this one gave me the chills when I read it many years back. This shows outright maliciousness on the part of the creature. Location, outside Fort Nelson, British Columbia. Date, early August 1990. Reported 5/12/2001. Witness Stan Yeardley, 47 at the time of reporting. The reporting witness said that his 2 German shepherds began barking crazily one day while he was outside working on an old dirt bike. Normally, he would simply tell them to shut up, but he said that he had never heard them bark like this before. He knew that something was off. He began to walk towards the rear of his property, then thought twice about it. He went inside, grabbed his deer rifle, no caliber mentioned, and then proceeded towards the area where the dogs were penned up. When he arrived, he could both see and hear something large crunching through the trees and bushes surrounding his property. Thinking from the size that it was a large bull moose, he yelled at it to get lost, fired his rifle into the air one time. Whatever it was stopped moving and growled. He said that when it growled, both dogs stopped barking like someone had, quote, unplugged, unquote, them, and remained unnaturally silent. He said that he felt the growl like someone hit him with a wet wool blanket. He was now both confused and afraid. He knew that this was not a bull moose, it wasn't a bear, it wasn't a person. He immediately retreated into the house. He tried to get the dogs to go with him, but they would not move. He was woken that night by the sounds of his dogs yelping and screaming outside. He armed himself, hit the switch for the sodium lights in the yard, and ran outside onto his raised balcony. Once outside, he saw a gigantic, quote, 2-legged baboon, unquote, walking toward the woods carrying one of his dogs. The other was still inside the pen area. He shot at the creature 3 times before it disappeared into the wood, and he was not sure if he had hit it or not. He went outside to check on his remaining dog. He was alive and uninjured, totally unresponsive. He carried her inside. He called his brother once again. Within an hour, he arrived at his home. His brother said they would go out in the morning and look for the missing dog, but that they were not going nowhere out there in the dark. In the morning, they armed up and stepped out the front door to begin their search. They spent the day searching the area and found nothing. Upon their return home, they found the head of the missing dog on the front porch of the home. It wasn't there when they left in the morning. His brother told him that this means that whatever killed his dog was intelligent and may have even been in the area when they were leaving earlier in the morning. His brother stayed for the rest of the week, but nothing further occurred. His remaining dog seemed to snap out of it a few days later, but was never the same animal that she had been before. He said that the 2-legged baboon turned its upper body towards him as he threw open the balcony door. He said that its features momentarily stopped him dead in his tracks. It had an enormous muscular body, but the face is what got him. It had a long snout or muzzle with pointed teeth which had bared at him when they made eye contact. He said the eyes reflected yellow-green in the light from the sodium halogen lights. His first thought was, I'm looking at a monster! What the hell is this thing? Then he saw that it was carrying his limp dog in one hand, just like he would carry a shopping bag. He estimated the creature was between 10 to 12 feet tall. Its coloring was midnight black. It crossed his yard, which is 70 to 80 feet, in 7 or 8 steps. He also said that the creature seemed to exude a feeling of dread, at least to him. 3 clear footprints were found in the back area of the yard. These measured 19 inches long by 10 inches wide and were sunk about 2 inches deep into the semi-dry ground. The distance between prints was estimated at 6.5 to 7 feet. He sent me a scan of a 110 photograph of one of the prints, and I'll go through my flash drives and portable hard drive to see if I can find it. When I do, I'll send it to you. After this encounter, he had bars installed over all of his windows, replaced the sliding glass balcony doors with solid oak swinging doors, and installed motion sensor lights around the house and in the yard. And Sean says that is the most detailed report that I have on this ugly creature. The fact that it brought the dog's head back and put it where they would find it proves to me that these things have a malicious intelligence. He says I communicated back and forth with Stan several times. Last communication was in early winter of 2003. And again, thank you very much to Sean for sharing those reports with us. Much appreciated. If anybody out there has any reports that they think may have been a Gugly encounter, please feel free to send it to me. My email, worldbigfootcentral@yahoo.com. So until next episode, everybody be safe out there, and you know the drill.
Leaves on it. That again is about 6 foot high. It's just above my head. Is that a footprint? Hard to say. Show me the footprints.
Okay, here's one right here. See it? It's all flat.
Yeah, and I can see the toes.
And the toes.
Hard to see in the video.
Right, I know it's hard. And then you got that one over there. I don't want to disturb anything, but you got this where you can see the toes. See the toes?
Mm-hmm.
Right there's the toes.
Hold on, let me
the
get
hill
these
comes
breaks.
to here.
Look
See
at
the hill mark?
Hold on.
Right here. Watch.
Look at those breaks.
See, are you? Yeah, and you can see where he just grabbed it. Look, he stood here. That's where his footprints are. Stood from there to here and said, pow, and broke those off. Look at all the trees around you. That's a big tree.
Yeah.
So we're close to the area. I know we are.
You know what? I need to go back and get the tape measure.
Okay. But you see?
Oh, yeah.
They grabbed that mother and just pow. And you can kind of see where he stood too, right here, and disturbed the ground with the sand right here. Mm-hmm. And then that footprint, you can see it. Look at that one, where he stood right here and flattened the earth. So, and look right here, look at this. See this? Look right here, that trail, all the way through there. What would break that right there and lean it over? See it?
I got another one.
There you go. Then you're looking at these, look. Just broke. And nothing else is, look, nothing else but that. And then if you go over here, there's another spot. So let's try it. I want to find.
Okay, move it over to the other one.
This one?
Yep.
Get this, see how the toes, the big toes here, because it's curved. See
Well,
the
it looks
toe?
like the big toe, maybe,
You see it
because
from
it
here
goes up in that angle.
to here. About 10 inches.
Well, that's bigger than I thought it was. I was not looking at that over there.
That's drift.
That is there.
Don't do it.
Something. And you know, this is the area. This is the spot.
I'm videoing right now
Yeah.
to try to get angles and
And I'm looking at the screen. It is so hard to see it in the screen. Yeah. Compared to what my eyes are seeing. And then up there, that one is a lot clearer, I would say. Well, see, that's what I was saying. I've never been. The prettiest, I guess, but hopefully it'll come
go.
out.
go for it.
Okay.
I'm just videotaping, so you just this is it. First time picking it up.
Good released.
Gonna be heavy.
Perfect. We can wash that with the boat, on the boat.
Oh man, look at that. That is definitely a foot.
What the fuck did we do? Oh, sorry. Boop.
Beep.
What the hell
Wash
is
down,
this?
Wash down
Yeah.
the boat, spray it down.
I'm really gonna be curious to see
Yeah,
how
let's
this
go see it.
spider.